This was my first war with Bray. We were up against NewN. So I bring Corvus for this fight against Archangel. I'm using Corvus's medium, then light, then medium attacks to get the most damage out of his critical hits. Archangel's SP1, you can evade and counter. You want to be careful though. If you do a full evade, sometimes you'll be too far away and Archangel will parry your counter attack. That's why in that fight I would evade the first attack, parry the second, and then evade and counter the third attack. So right now I'm using the Scouter Lens Mastery in conjunction with the Class Advantage website. For anyone that hasn't tried that for war yet, you should really look into it. It's probably been the best investment I've made in terms of masteries for Alliance War. Unfortunately, I didn't record my first fight for this war. It was against the Counter Tactics Corvus Miniboss. I used an invulnerability boost with Dr. Voodoo. It came in handy. Corvus caught me dashing back early on in the fight, and the invulnerability boost, it ate up three of the 5 hits of Corvus's combo. So since I've got one charge with Corvus, I'm going to bring him into this fight. This defender turned out to be Cable. Cable doesn't show up in this player's profile, but since I used the Scouter Lens Mastery and the Class Advantage website, I knew what I was going up against before I started the fight. So I'm gonna use a few more boosts here, because at this point in the war I'd gotten the okay and I was planning to go all the way through the Gladiator Hulk mini-boss. So this node has it's got some critical boosts, and you guys will see in a second where I keep that in mind when Cable uses his SP1. So right here, Cable's SP1 can be fully evaded, but I don't take the risk given the critical nodes on this fight. I play it safe and just take the block damage because it's not that much. And with the boosts I've got with Corvus, I'm confident that once I get his SP2 off, if that's not going to end the fight, it's going to fill his power up close to using another SP2 almost immediately with the class boost. So there's another pause in the video here. I'm plugging in the defender data into the Class Advantage website, which lets me know that I'm going up against Iceman here. This node, it has unblockable SP1 and start at a bar of power. Iceman, he gets placed here kind of a lot. It's because he starts the fight able to use his SP1, and you start off with Cold Snap, so if you're using Sparky, you're not going to be able to evade. So I'm able to push Iceman to 2 bars of power to get him to use his SP2. And right here I'm using more than Corvus's dash attacks for the critical hits. Both because Corvus has a charge and he's boosted, so he's doing good damage, but also to try to push Iceman to his SP2. I don't want to take the risk and have to evade his SP1. So that fight wasn't much either. Even with one boost, or not one boost, even with one charge, if you're going into Alliance War with a maxed 5-star Corvus, it makes things so much easier. So we've got Gladiator Hulk on the stun immune unblockable SP1 mini-boss. So I noticed early on in this fight that the player who placed Gladiator Hulk, he doesn't have willpower, so that means I'm able to use parry more against this boss without having to worry about willpower, giving Gladiator Hulk some health back. And even though Gladiator Hulk has stun immunity, the more I can parry, the more I'm going to be able to keep the block damage lower. Gladiator Hulk's SP1 can be kind of tricky to evade. It's got a delayed release, like the animation comes on early, and it makes it easy to evade too early. It's kind of similar to Juggernaut's SP1. So when you're fighting Gladiator Hulk and trying to evade his SP1, you want to keep in mind that the animation starts maybe around a half second before you need to evade. So NewN placed the champion for the boss of our battle group, and I ended up providing the assist for this war. So I'm going to go with Dr. Voodoo. And yeah, I think I used max boosts across the board. And a mystic boost too. When you go up against the champion boss in Alliance War, you really are whoever in your battle group takes them on. You really want to make sure they get the solo, because if they don't, as you can see, the champion's going to start this fight with additional charges. So every 13 seconds when that fury, or when he gets that fury, he's going to go unstoppable. It's very difficult, if not impossible, to get his charges down under 2 in order to prevent the unstoppable. Okay, so there's the first unstoppable. The nice thing about Dr. Voodoo is that he's able to land his SP1 while the champion is unstoppable. So I'm trying to keep an eye on the timer here, but the timer aligns with the sun and the stage, which caused me to lose track of how much time had gone by. And when you can't keep track of the timer against the champion, you're going to be a lot more likely to take attacks while he's unstoppable. So Voodoo's SP3 is really going to help right here. It's going to make it, I'm not going to have to worry about baiting his special attacks as much. Now, yep. So I stopped my attack early once I got to an even amount of combo hits there, because I knew the unstoppable was coming, so I just waited for the champion to do a dash attack so I could evade and catch him with the SP1. I think I'm gonna, oh no, okay, so right there I'm able to use the SP1 at the end of a combo before he goes unstoppable again, and I got us the assist.